Miami made a statement against Florida, winning 26-7 this Saturday night. Miami covering the 8.5 points. That wasn't the statement, though. The statement is that Miami can win games with defense, and that when it feels like Miami is losing control, when it feels like they may about to be facing another Mario Cristobal choke job, they don't choke it away. They hold on. They find a way to retain the lead. They find a way to enlarge the lead, and they find a way to get the vice grips and to really tighten them until one end of the vice grips just goes right through your skull. Before we resume this segment, some great and free ways to support this channel are liking the video, watching it all the way through, commenting your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your analysis, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel, and also hitting the notification bell. That way you can get notified when we go live or release new content. And don't just hit the notification bell for the channel. That's very helpful. But what's also helpful and free and useful to you, if you are a diehard fan of a specific team and want to get notifications whenever I make content about a specific team, not just my content in general, well, we have playlists for every Power 4 college football team, so the notification bell on any of those playlists you are interested in. If you want to support the channel financially, there are ways to do so in the description, and you can sign up as a paid member. That's what they did to Florida. Florida, as I discussed after LSU, but I think tonight confirmed it, Florida's dead. If you're Florida and you're Scott Strickland and you are Florida players, there is no reason outside of you're a Florida player, because you want your draft stock to remain high if you're draftable, there's no reason not to quit. Your season's over. It's done. It's dead. You had every opportunity. You even called a better game here. And an in-state school, Miami, who's not taken seriously by any of your SEC brethren, just killed you. They physically, they neutered you. They cut your hoo-hoos off. You're nothing. You're 1-3 with 2 double-digit losses in which your defense played lights out and your offensive genius couldn't do anything. You're dead. Season's over. For the fans, show up to Texas. I mean, hopefully something good can happen if you fire Napier and get the emotional boost. As long as that guy's on the sidelines, you're nothing. You're a D tier, F tier program as long as that guy is on the sidelines. As long as he is. I don't care that your players have bicep veins. They're big, they're physical. They play tough. They don't quit. None of that matters. It doesn't. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. I was sick and tired of when everyone was praising Florida in the preseason for all these different accolades and things that were just honestly a little bit lame, and making excuses, but I bought into it a little bit with Florida. I thought they'd go 7-5, 8-4, certainly not make the playoffs, but they'd have some success because of the talent. I bought into it too, and that makes me angry. It's so insufferable, the bad coaching. They called a better game, and it was still a horrible game plan. It's just only slightly better than the game plan against LSU, because that was one of the worst game plans I've ever witnessed in my life. What I'm watching right now with Florida is if Scott Frost was Florida's head coach and he actually had a decent defensive coordinator, and yet the result's still the same. In fact, I'll go on another limb here. Frost at least played competitively with the big teams and didn't let his team fully lose control in these big games this late in his tenure. Played Ohio State close, played Michigan close, played Michigan State close, played Oklahoma close, would have played Penn State close if they faced him. Napier can't even do that. Frost is a better game manager, as far as I can tell, than Billy Napier has. Had less talent, worse defensive coordinator, worse defense, and worse talent. Never had a quarterback like DJ Lagway, yet played better, yet actually competed. Didn't throw the game away in the insane ways. And Frost was horrible. Absolutely horrible. He was a disaster at Nebraska. I cannot emphasize enough, and I'll touch on it for redundancy's sake and just summary's sake later in the segment. You have to fire Napier. You have to let him go, symbolically. You have to. Like right now, entering the bye, you cannot hold on to him for the rest of the year because it will further damage your program. You will look unserious. It will put your athletic department in jeopardy. For symbolic sake, in the same way they fired Frost and paid him an extra $1 million to get on out of there after Georgia Southern, you have to pay Napier extra dollars to leave. Get out. You have destroyed our program. You've made us the laughing stock of the SEC. Leave. Take Lagway and leave, because he ain't any good right now. He needs a fresh start, and he's a good person. He's talented. Wherever he goes next, or if he stays at Florida and they actually hire a real coach, he'll be good again. This is just Florida. They got physically dominated with the clock. They had, I think, 1 first down in the first half against a defense in Miami last year that could not stop molasses in December, as Pate says. That could not stop cholesterol-filled blood in the cold. Couldn't do anything last year against competent offenses. You have a big O-line, a talented O-line, a quarterback that was elite entering this year, at least many thought. I even bought into that. Couldn't do anything. You know what Florida averaged through the air? You know what they averaged through the air? What Florida did? They averaged 2.7 yards per pass attempt. 2.7 yards per pass attempt against a secondary filled with transfers, and the secondary that was the problem for Miami last year. Florida has no receivers I care about. Their offensive line is overrated. Everything about the offense is overrated. Even the running backs are overrated, and I think they're good. Defense, criminally underrated. I don't even think the most biased pro-Florida person thought this defense would be this good. And it's all being wasted. They held Miami to 4.3 yards per carry. They made Beck look like he was 2024 Carson Beck, and they got a sack on Miami, and they made Beck uncomfortable. And yet Miami still had an 88% power rushing success rate, ran for almost 200 yards, converted 50% of their third downs, and they clutched up when it mattered. Florida did not. They did not clutch up because they don't have a head coach. And as much crap as Mario Cristobal gets, and understandably so, although if Miami continues to win this year, I don't think he'll deserve much crap. Cristobal's an actual coach who's serious and learns from his mistakes. Napier says, I'm going to go down with the ship and I'm going to call plays. And unlike Brent Venables, who's actually a defensive genius, so therefore that works, you are nothing. So you calling the plays just is saying, oh, well, my leg's already blown off here. Let me saw off the other leg. Let me saw off my arm. I can't saw off my other arm because that would require me to hold the saw while sawing the arm that I'm using to saw this arm off with. It's total idiocy. Napier, the question is, will he be fired this week? Because he will be fired for sure. Is it this week? Is it at the end of the year? Is it sometime in between? I don't know, but he's definitely gone. He has to be if Florida's serious. And Miami can win with defense. I think that's the encouraging thing for Hurricane fans is Heatherman's elite. They got 4 sacks here, 7 TFLs. They broke down on that one drive where Florida converted a bunch of 4th downs. They ran stubbornly, and you saw a little bit of that Florida O-line and Lagway's leg talent. But outside of that, they bowed up and didn't allow anything to happen. I mean, when you hold Florida to a 29% success rate, 5th percentile, they're averaging 2.7 yards per play, 0th percentile. Florida is averaging a negative 0.3, or a negative, not 0.3, what am I even saying? A negative third of a point, expected point added per play, which is 5th percentile. And they have a 9% havoc rate, which means only 9% of Miami's plays were a TFL, a sack, a pick, a pass defended, etc. Like a no good play for Miami. You've ran an impressive operation offensively. Shout out to Shannon Dawson for managing that game well and putting it away at the end, and to Miami and Corey Heatherman for having a 13% havoc rate and for only letting Florida average like 2.3 yards per dropback. It's so bad. Florida's offense is so bad, but Miami's defense is also so good. And that's defying their norm. Usually, they've either choked it away so far under Cristobal when the game gets tight like this, or their defense just completely surrenders. Not the case here. They defied the norm about them, and that's very encouraging. Miami, with Clemson taking their third loss, beating Florida, beating Notre Dame, and I still think Notre Dame's a good team. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but they're a good team, and they'll probably be in the playoffs next year under Freeman. Could even make it this year technically, but I just don't think they win out. They are the premier program in the ACC right now. I would say, and this may come back to bite me in the rear, they are a lock to win the ACC right now. The only team who could say something about that is Georgia Tech. And I don't know if Georgia Tech will have something to say about that. I think they're a good team, but there's a real world where Georgia Tech loses a few games that many, including myself, think they shouldn't lose, and therefore Miami gets a worse coached opponent in the championship game and just beats them by 50. Napier must be fired. The Hurricanes are on an amazing run right now, and Florida is 2023 Iowa. That's going to be the final takeaway from this game. They have a top 10 defense and probably a bottom 10 offense for sure in the Power 4, maybe even close to a bottom 10 offense in the entire FBS. They are 2023 Iowa, except they do not have the game management of Kirk Ferentz or the genius of Phil Parker. So in that regard, they're actually more disappointing, drastically more disappointing than 2023 Iowa was. Thank you so much for watching this segment on College Football with Sam. Before we close out here, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video around, comment your thoughts and analysis down below so I can read them and reply to them if I have the time. Members get priority replies, but I try to reply to everyone. And also hit the notification bell for the channel and also for any team playlists you are interested in. If you want to support the channel financially, you can always super chat me in the comment section, but I prefer that you sign up as a paid member of the Patreon page or as a YouTube member, or that you can purchase some wonderful merchandise to represent us. I'll see you all soon and have a fantastic day.